Hello, welcome to Brickwall Unplugged. I'm here today doing a quick little impromptu horror movie trivia live stream challenge thing. Just like my David Lynch trivia, this is mostly happening as a spur of the moment thing because I felt like playing a little trivia, and I figured I might as well stream it and let you play along at home if you so choose. Let me switch over here. I have a bunch of trivia tabs here ready to go. And, hang on, I can't actually interact with it while I'm doing that. I'm still getting used to this live streaming thing. I don't really know how to do it yet. Okay, is that working? There we go. All right. So I have a whole bunch of tabs open here, all with different movie trivia websites and challenges on here. A few of these are connected, like there's this John's Horror Movie Mixture Trivia Quiz. There's like 6 parts of it, I think. So I'll at least start going through the first one. I don't know if I'll go through all of them because I don't know if they're any good. Because the whole point is I will be doing this live and you can play along at home. I obviously don't know the answers, otherwise it wouldn't be a trivia challenge. I'll read out the questions along with multiple choice answers if they have multiple choice answers. And let's just get started here. So first one I'm doing here is howstuffworks.com, the ultimate horror movie quiz. And let's just go here. Okay, first question. What is the name of the killer clown in Stephen King's It? That is Pennywise. That is pretty easy. Obviously, so since I didn't the only vetting I did was opening these and just making sure it wasn't one of the sites that said the answer immediately after the question, because there were a bunch of those. Other than that, I haven't, vetted these or looked through them at all. So if any of these end up being, stupid bullshit questions or just like overly easy, I'll just jump ship and move on. Okay, what is the name of the main villain in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Leatherface, Pinhead, Ghostface, or Slicey McStabby? That would be Leatherface. Okay, here's Johnny. What is the name of the hotel where The Shining takes place? That would be the Overlook Hotel. Oh, I said I was going to read the multiple choice options. Okay, I'll do that in the future. All right, it's Overlook. You all know that. Okay, what is the name of the infamous fishing boat used in the climactic shark hunt at the end of Jaws? Spellbound, High Tide, Orca, or Buoy O Buoy? That would be Orca. How does the mostly unseen monster from It Follows decide who to target? Sexual partners, atheists, virgins, or females only? That would be sexual partners. Who is the main protagonist in the Scream series? Dewey Riley, that is a character in it. Casey Becker, it's also a character. Sidney Prescott or Cotton Weary. So they're all characters in Scream, but the main protagonist is Sidney. Okay, before he was caught and burned to death by angry townspeople, Freddy Krueger was a serial killer known as the Elm Street Murderer, Springwood Slasher, Ohio State Stabber, or Kitty Killer. I think it's Springwood Slasher. This is the first one that I'm not 100% on. I think it's Springwood Slasher, though. Yeah, it is. Okay. What is the name of the mysterious hypnotic location that Chris finds himself in during Get Out? The Teacup, the Apple Orchard, the Sunken Place, or the Alternate World? That would be the Sunken Place. Happy October, LK. See, I'm getting a little better at this live streaming thing because I now have the chat open on my phone, whereas in my past 2 live streams, I could not see the chat at all the whole time. So I'm very slowly figuring this out piece by piece. Okay, The Purge is about a 24-hour period where all crime is legal in America. How often does this happen? I've never seen any of the Purge movies. I believe it's once a year, at least in the first movie. Yeah, that's right. Okay. The bad guy in Don't Breathe might be old and blind, but he's hiding a big secret in the basement. What is it? This is a spoiler-y kind of question, I guess. $1 million, a kidnapped woman, a secret drug operation, or stolen government documents. It is a kidnapped woman who he's trying to impregnate. Okay, Michael Myers' mask is actually a mask from what Star Trek character? Mr. Spock, Jean-Luc Picard, Leonard McCoy, or James T. Kirk? That would be James T. Kirk. It's William Shatner. Which film is typically credited as creating the genre of found footage horror movies? The Blair Witch Project, Paranormal Activity, Cannibal Holocaust, or Cloverfield? The typically credited here is important because I believe they want Blair Witch Project, even though Cannibal Holocaust did come first. It's more of a mockumentary than an actual found footage movie. So I think they want Blair Witch Project, but even the Blair Witch Project was still preceded by The Last Broadcast, which came a couple years earlier, but that's not an option here. So I believe they want the Blair Witch Project. Oh, they did want Cannibal Holocaust. Okay. So I guess we're splitting hairs here between found footage and mockumentary, which, I mean, I guess mockumentary is found footage in this context because it's supposed to be like the cast and crew died and all that. So yeah, I guess you're kind of splitting hairs on that one, but Cannibal Holocaust, sure. Okay, if you are unlucky enough to watch the cursed videotape in the ring, you get a phone call. What does the voice on the other end say? You are doomed. 7 days. Thank you for watching, or help me. Should be 7 days. That was a hard question because creating was in quotes. Yeah, creating's in quotes, and also the typical thing, typically credited is the other important thing. Yeah. I feel like you could arguably say Cannibal Holocaust, Blair Witch Project, or that The Last Broadcast movie, which is in between those two. Dr. Hannibal Lecter. Oh, we got more chatters here. Thanks, you discovered Zoller Films. Thank you. Oh, well, thank you for checking out Zoller's work. More people always need to watch his movies. Hopefully he can keep getting more made in the future, because it's been a while now, and he's had a few projects fall through. But he's been at least putting out book projects. I've reviewed all of his books except for his latest graphic novel, which is, what's it called? Organisms of an Ancient Cosmos. I'm looking forward to that one, but I haven't grabbed that one yet. Made it seem like Blair Witch as an answer, which is sort of falsely attributed as the creator. Yeah, the typically created thing makes it seem like Blair Witch because people do constantly call that the first found footage movie. Okay, Dr. Hannibal Lecter, in a prison cannibalistic serial killer, helps the FBI track down which fictional criminal in Silence of the Lambs? Tennessee Ted, Florida Fred, Kentucky Kyle, or Buffalo Bill? I like these red herring options, but it is, of course, Buffalo Bill. Okay, the Conjuring franchise contains a possessed doll who went on to have its own series of spin-off movies. What was the doll's name? Chucky, Annabelle, Samara, or Madeline? That would be Annabelle. Okay, everyone knows the original killer in the Saw series as Jigsaw, but what was his real name? Dr. Lawrence Gordon. That's Cary Elwes's character's name. David Tapp, Zepp Hindle, or John Kramer? That is John Kramer. Silence of the Lambs won 5 different Academy Awards. Which category did not win an Oscar for? Best Supporting Actor, Best Picture, or Best Actress? I think it's Best Supporting Actor because I know it's a little contentious of Anthony Hopkins. He's definitely a supporting role in that movie. Like he only has, 15 minutes, 10 minutes of screen time or something. But I think they put him in Best Actor instead of Best Supporting Actor anyway. I know Jodie Foster won, and I know it won Best Picture. And Anthony Hopkins won, I think, for Best Actor, even though he should have been Best Supporting Actor. Does anyone watching know? Does anyone want to take a guess? My guess is I think he won Best Actor instead of Best Supporting Actor. I'll give the chat a second to catch up if anyone wants to make their guess. I also hadn't heard of Zoller before I saw your videos on him. I guess I got to thank you too. Love his 3 movies and a few of his novels. Well, I'm glad to spread the Zoller love. Zoller has seen a couple of my videos on him, and he gave them his stamp of approval, which is definitely one of the things I'm more proud of as far as YouTube stuff goes. I do not know. Hope that helps. It does help. I will go ahead and go Best Supporting Actor. Yeah. Yeah, it says right there, despite appearing in only roughly 20 minutes of the movie, he was Best Actor. Yeah, they've done that a few times. I think it comes down to which categories the studio decides to submit for, because you have to campaign to win an Oscar. It's not strictly just they vote on all the movies. You have to get the Academy to watch the movies and vote for them. Okay, in the classic Stephen King adaptation of Carrie, what do the popular students use to bully Carrie at prom? Embarrassing photos, pig blood, sheep blood, or cow blood? I think it's pig blood, I'm pretty sure, yeah. Okay, a 12-year-old boy named Oscar meets a young girl his age and let the right one in. What supernatural creature does she end up being? Shapeshifter, werewolf, vampire, or demon? It is vampire. I haven't seen the American remake yet, but I've seen the original Swedish one, and I enjoy it. I've heard they're both good, though. Okay, Jason Voorhees wasn't even the killer in the first Friday the 13th movie. See, that's good because most trivia sites make that the question, and it's like so obvious. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these other tabs has that as a question. The whole, oh, it was his mother thing, which I think everyone knows at this point. Okay, what's the actual question here? He didn't don his famous hockey mask until which sequel? The final chapter, part 2, Jason Lives, or part 3? That is part 3. The president, they did make part 2. Part 2, he has the bag on his head, which is also, it's part 3 that he gets the mask. Okay. The Conjuring Films focuses, that's not right. Conjuring Films focus, get rid of that S and the E. The Conjuring Films focus on the careers of which real-life paranormal investigators? John Edwards, Sylvia Brown, Ed and Lorraine Warren, or James Van Prague, I guess. That's Ed and Lorraine Warren, who are just complete huckster scam artists in my book. I see someone commented 2, and I think I'm looking at that late. I'm guessing that was from the Friday the 13th question. And yeah, part 2 is a good guess, but it's part 3. He is the killer in part 2 after not being the killer in part 1, but it's 3 that he puts the mask on. And 3 is not a good one either. The first 2 I enjoy. The third one I don't think is very good. Okay, which horror film used the tagline "In space, no one could hear you scream"? The Predator, Jason X, Alien, or Pitch Black? That is Alien, of course. Absolute masterpiece classic. Which movie is often credited as forcing the MPAA to create the PG-13 rating? The Thing, Gremlins, Evil Dead 2, or Nightmare on Elm Street? Now, this question is a little tricky because I think people often attribute it to the second Indiana Jones movie, actually. I think they say it's a combination of the Indiana Jones movie and it would have to be Gremlins. So it's Gremlins. But yeah, I think they say the second Indiana Jones movie, unless I'm mixing up G and PG or something. But I think it's that. I think it's that. Okay, Necronomicon, Ex Mortis, Kandarian Demons, Boomsticks, Groovy. What franchise are we talking about? Evil Dead, Cabin in the Woods, The Exorcist, or Drag Me to Hell? Well, it would happen to be the one that is on my hat. That is Evil Dead. What object is used to signify the gypsy curse in Drag Me to Hell? A coin, a cross, a button, or a doll? Okay, I have seen this movie. This is the second one that I'm not 100% sure on right off the bat. I think it's a button, but it could be a coin. I don't remember there being a cross or a doll. I see button in the chat. Thank you. I will go with that one. Yes. Thank you, Jen. Okay. Sometimes dead is better. Which horror movie is this famous quote from? Pet Sematary, Misery, Night of the Living Dead, or Creepshow? I believe that's Pet Sematary. I want to go ahead and guess that. That's correct. Okay. John Carpenter is one of the most famous horror directors. Which movie did he not direct? The Fog, The Fly, Halloween, or The Thing? The Fly is Cronenberg, so Carpenter did not direct that one. All great movies. Okay. The crazed killer doll in Child's Play is known as Chucky, but is actually possessed by the soul of what fictional serial killer? I like this question. That's a good question right there. Ted Matthew Smith, Robbie Thomas, Billy Joe Green, or Charles Lee Ray? It is Charles Lee Ray, played by the one and only Brad Dourif. Okay, long before he wears the iconic white mask and jumpsuit, who does Michael Myers kill as a boy? White mask and jumpsuit makes it sound like his jumpsuit is white, but it isn't. Okay, who does he kill as a boy? His sister, his brother, his mother, or his childhood friend? That would be his sister. Which classic Alfred Hitchcock horror film featured the iconic shower scene? The Birds, Rear Window, Psycho, or Frenzy? That would be Psycho. I think I got one wrong. Yeah, 29 out of 30. That was a pretty good quiz for just like a randomly picked horror movie trivia site. I liked most of those questions. Like that was a pretty good one. Let's hope that the other ones stay that good. Okay, next up we've got, this is best quiz questions. It's a WordPress site. I don't know. Let's see if this one's any good. Where are the first questions here? This is a whole lot of preamble. Okay, here we go. Who was the main protagonist of the film Psycho? Martin Whitley, L. Kugo, Joe Goldberg, or Norman Bates? Well, they're using the word protagonist incorrectly because they obviously mean antagonist, who would be Norman Bates. Protagonist is none of these. Okay, who was the main protagonist? I guess they mean antagonist again. Whoever made this quiz just doesn't know the difference between protagonist and antagonist, I guess. Who was the main protagonist in the film Texas Chainsaw Massacre? That would be Sally Hardesty, or I guess you could argue Franklin Hardesty for part of it, but none of them are the options. The options are Michael Myers, Jigsaw, Leatherface, or Freddy Krueger. They want Leatherface because they mean antagonist. This is one of the ones that I guess doesn't show you if you're right or wrong until the very end. Unless it turns a different color. Yeah, no, it doesn't. So yeah, we won't know until the very end, but I mean, come on, it's on their face. Okay, which film franchise features a serial killer named Jigsaw? Jaws, Scream, Halloween, or Saw? And it is Saw. Who is the main protagonist in the film The Silence of the Lambs? Again, they mean antagonist. Okay, Jigsaw, Ghostface, Hannibal Lecter, or Leatherface? It's Hannibal Lecter. Though, I mean, honestly, Hannibal Lecter isn't really the antagonist. Buffalo Bill is more of the antagonist. Hannibal Lecter is not what I would call an antagonist. He would be like a deuteragonist is the term for like a secondary protagonist. I don't know if there's an equivalent for secondary antagonist. Deuteragonist. I mean, he does help Clarice, so it's kind of a deuteragonist. Anyway. Which of the following was the first horror movie to be nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars? Silence of the Lambs, Scream, The Shining, or The Exorcist? So it's actually The Exorcist, I believe, even though The Silence of the Lambs was the first to win. I don't think The Exorcist won, but it was nominated. The Exorcist was nominated for a whole bunch of Oscars. And it won a couple, but I don't think it won Best Picture. Okay, Danny is warned to stay away from which hotel room in The Shining? 732, 237, 666, or 327. They're being tricky by doing 327 here because it's the same number as jumbled up, but it's 237. Okay, who was the main killer in Scream 2? Tatum Riley, Stu Macher, Billy Loomis, or Mickey Altieri? Stu Macher and Billy Loomis are the two killers in the first movie. Mickey is the killer in the second one, who is Timothy Olyphant, I think, right? If I'm remembering correctly. How many real-life deaths are associated with the making of The Exorcist? Okay, I know there's a couple. I don't know this particular number off the top of my head. I think it's probably 3. I know the Poltergeist has a lot of real-life deaths associated with it as well. I think 3. Okay, which was the first Stephen King novel to be adapted into a motion picture? Maximum Overdrive, It, The Shining, or Doctor Sleep? Well, out of this bunch, it's The Shining. I don't know if The Shining was the first Stephen King movie altogether, though. I wouldn't have thought it was. I guess it could be. Didn't Carrie come before The Shining? Yeah, Carrie definitely did. Carrie precedes. I think Carrie was the first Stephen King adaptation. So I don't know. It is the first out of this bunch, I guess. Okay, You'll Float 2 is a famous line from which horror movie? Jaws, Nightmare on Elm Street, The Shining, or It? That would be It. The thing with It, though, is it was actually a 2-part TV like miniseries special thing. So it's not really a movie technically until you get the new It Chapter 1 and 2 thing, because those are both movies. Okay, while filming the opening scene in Final Destination 2, the actors had to ride the roller coaster how many times? I think this question's straight up wrong because isn't the roller coaster Final Destination 3? The second one is the highway pileup. The third one is the roller coaster, right? The first adaptation was a Boogeyman short. Oh, okay, the first Stephen King one. Yeah, so that's another. Yeah, this one's. And I'm pretty sure Final Destination 3 is the one with the roller coaster. So I think this quiz has a couple incorrect questions. Let's just let's jump off this one because this is not a good quiz. Okay, let's jump to Trivia Nerd. 124 plus. Why plus? 124 is not like a round number. Just say the actual number, right? Why plus? Best horror trivia questions and answers. Okay. Who played the evil Dracula in the 1992 movie Bram Stoker's Dracula? Okay, so Bram Stoker's Dracula is the Francis Ford Coppola one where Dracula was played by Gary Oldman. Can I click on this? Yeah, okay. Gary Oldman. So there's no multiple choice on this one, which I don't mind personally. Okay, who is the only survivor of the deadly prom night in the 1976 version of Carrie? I'm guessing the answer is Carrie, unless they mean someone other than Carrie. It's been a while since I saw it. I don't know if she lets someone else live. I think it would have to be Carrie, like herself, right? No, Sue. Okay, she doesn't let somebody else live. They should say other than Carrie, because she doesn't die. But okay. Who played father turned killer Jack Torrance in The Shining? That would be Jack Nicholson. John Carpenter directed what famous horror movie? Are you kidding me? I mean, they want me to say Halloween, obviously, but that's acting like he only directed one horror movie. Come on, John Carpenter directed so many famous horror movies. Okay, what legendary film star played the Phantom of the Opera in the 1925 silent film? That is. Oh, why am I blanking on his name right now? I do know his name. I'm not going to look at Chad for a second because I know his name. It's a junior, Lon Chaney Jr. That's it, right? Or just Lon? No, Lon Chaney Sr. Lon Chaney Jr. was the Wolfman. Lon Chaney Sr. was Phantom of the Opera. Yeah, okay. I almost didn't get that. All right. Actor Bela Lugosi played what famous movie monster? They want Dracula, but he played a few actually. Dracula is definitely his most famous. Okay, what horror movie series features a killer named Leatherface? That's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Who gets his arms bitten off by the creature when he tries to resuscitate Norris in The Thing? I mean, that's the famous shock paddle scene. I don't know that character. I don't know that character's name off the top of my head. Does anyone in the chat know that character's name? There's a little bit of a delay here, so I'll give you guys a second to catch up. You could almost read like through the blur, but yeah. Right, exactly. Who knows any of the names except maybe Kurt Russell? Yeah, yeah. All right, let's just go ahead and see it. You could almost read it through the Copper. Okay, Copper was his name. Yeah, no, it wasn't Blair, unfortunately. It was Copper, I guess. All right. What is the name of the warship that Ripley boards to fly to the alien-infected colony in Aliens, the plural, the second one, the sequel? Okay, I think it's the Nostromo in the first one, right? So the second one is what's the second one? The second one is first one's Nostromo, unless the second one's the Nostromo. No, I think the first one's the Nostromo. So the second one is Hadley's Hope is the name of the colony, I think. What's the name of the second ship? The Sulaco? Is it the Sulaco? That might be the name from the video game. I can see enough of the blur to think Sulaco might be right. Yeah, it is the Sulaco. The blur kind of confirmed me there, but I did get it. Okay. What kind of creatures turn into gremlins in Gremlins? It's Mogwai. Yeah, okay. What movie monster resides at Camp Crystal Lake? That would be Jason Voorhees. It's a little weird to call him a monster, but I guess he is a monster. What movie monster wears a hockey mask to hide their face? Did they really do two Jason Voorhees in a row? What kind of quiz is that? I guess that's supposed to be a trick question, but all right. What film features an evil child called Damien? That would be The Omen. I'm trying not to look at the blur because it would kind of give it away. Not that it's like easy to read, but what movie monster is a killer toy doll? Honestly, I think you need to be a little more specific. Obviously, they want Chucky because he's the most famous, but there are a lot of killer toy doll movies, but it's Chucky that they want. Okay, the short movies Planet Terror and Death Proof make up what movie? So it's Grindhouse, but you can't really call them short movies because they are full feature-length movies. They just happen to be packaged in a double feature. You can find each of them on their own on DVD as just full self-contained movies, but it's Grindhouse. Okay. What crew member turns out to be an android and alien? Bishop, right? Oh, no, that's the second one is the android and Bishop. They want the first alien this time. His name is Ash this time. Ash, yeah. Okay. What yacht do the survivors try to get on in Dawn of the Dead? What yacht do they try to get on in Dawn of the Dead? I don't remember a yacht in Dawn of the Dead. I guess they mean the remake, because there's no yacht in the original. I do like the remake. I don't remember the name of the yacht, though. I think it's right at the very end, right? Steve. There's a yacht named Steve. Okay, definitely do not remember that. Death Proof was a positive surprise to me, as never heard anything positive about it. I'm a big fan of Death Proof. I included it in my car chase video essay and in my top 100 action films list, and in my horror list, actually. I think I put Grindhouse on both of those lists. Huge fan of that. Best car chase ever. Me too. I've always heard it was an embarrassment for Tarantino. Yeah, that's the reputation it has, which I think is really unfortunate. And you know what? It doesn't help that Tarantino eventually went on, I don't know if it was Jimmy Fallon or one of the other talk shows or whatever, but Tarantino at one point went on some talk show. It might have been Colbert even, but he went on one of those talk shows promoting, I think, The Hateful Eight. And he was like, yeah, I kind of fucked up with Death Proof. And I was like, oh, what are you doing, Tarantino? Don't sell yourself short, man. I think he let the negative reception get to him, and he started talking like Death Proof wasn't up to his standard or whatever, which I don't know. I think he needed to stick to his guns in that because it's great. Okay, what horror movie series features a serial killer named Jigsaw? That is Saw. I'm curious, has anyone in the chat seen Saw X? I haven't seen it yet. I've been hearing good things, and I stopped watching the Saw movies after 3. I'm curious if I should give Saw X a shot as someone who abandoned the series a long, long time ago. Who was the first to get infected by a face-hugging alien in Alien? Okay, who's the first to get killed? It's the one played by John Hurt, is the actor. It's good. Is that in response to Saw X? Yeah, I've heard it's good from quite a few people, even people who don't like the Saw franchise. Okay, so who's the first to get infected by a face-hugging alien in Alien? I know it's the crew member that John Hurt plays, but I don't remember his name. I'm just going to say John Hurt, and it's Kane. Yeah, that's John Hurt. Okay, I'm going to count that. Okay, wait, is this seriously a question? Which movie is about zombies? How the fuck is this a trivia question? Which movie is about zombie? Thousands of movies are about zombies. What the fuck kind of question is that? That's a question that like maybe makes sense if it's multiple choice or something. That doesn't make any sense. Okay. I'm wondering if this website is like collating random trivia questions from other websites, and this pulled a multiple choice one that only makes sense if it's multiple choice, because otherwise I don't know what the fuck that is. Okay, what member of the group turns out to be the fool in the cabin in the woods? It's the stoner guy. I couldn't tell you his name, but the stoner guy. Marty. Oh, I do remember his name's Marty, yeah. Okay, who gets transported to the past? Oh, that, by the way, here's a fun trivia question. The guy who plays Marty in that just wrote and directed a movie a couple years ago called Mass that was really fucking good. You wouldn't expect it necessarily from that guy who played the stoner in that movie. I don't think I've seen him in any other movies. He wrote and directed a fantastic, like, one-location drama called Mass that I highly recommend. Very underrated indie flick. Check that one out if you haven't seen it. It's not a horror movie. It's a very heavy drama. Really good. Gets a big recommendation from me. Okay, who gets transported to the past to fight the Deadites in Army of Darkness? That would be Ash, a.k.a. Ashley J. Williams, I think is his full name, in Evil Dead. Well, from Evil Dead into Army of Darkness, obviously. Okay, who turns out to be the gender-bending killer in Sleepaway Camp? I actually do remember the name of this character, which is Angela. Yeah. What is the name of the demon that possesses Regan in The Exorcist? That would be Pazuzu. Even though I think Pazuzu as a name, am I remembering correctly that Pazuzu is never like confirmed to be the demon in the first Exorcist? I think it's actually like the second one where they really nailed it. Oh, it's Pazuzu. It's like implied in the first movie, and it's spelled out a little bit more in the book. The Exorcist book is really good, by the way. I read that a couple of Octobers ago, and it's really good. It's much slower than the movie. Basically, the movie is like the second half of the book, pretty much. There's like a little bit from the front of the book, and then the second half of the book. There's a whole like huge chunk that isn't in the movie at all. Okay, who slowly turns into a fly in the 1986 version of this Fly? Jeff Goldblum is the actor. The character's name is Brundlefly. They wanted Goldblum. See, it's very inconsistent on whether they want the character name or the actor name. Okay, who fought a giant alien in Alien? Okay. Yeah, these questions, you're right. These questions do sound kind of AI generated. I think I'll move on from this one, but I can tell they want Sigourney Weaver from the blur there, but they might also want Ellen Ripley as the character name. Okay, let's move on to another one. We're going to go to our first. Here we go. For the love of horror movies, trivia quiz on funtrivia.com. This website is all like user created. I've used this site in the past. I think I went to this site on my David Lynch trivia stream as well. Okay, actor Kevin Costner stars in the 2009 movie The New Daughter. I've never heard of this movie, so I'm probably not going to do well on this one. Okay, about a man who moves into a new countryside home with his 2 children. What is the occupation of his character? I've never heard of The New Daughter, if I'm being honest. The options are novelist, he's unemployed, doctor, or electrician. Well, lots of horror movie protagonists are novelists. In a home in the countryside is something a novelist could do. I think I'm going to just guess novelist. Oh, it's not going to tell me until the end. But that's a random guess. I've never heard of that movie. Okay. In the 1981 slasher flick The Burning, what is the killer's weapon of choice? I have not seen The Burning yet, but I know he's got garden shears. I've seen the scene where he uses garden shears. So I have to assume it's that. Okay, the 2009 horror film Babysitter Wanted is about a girl named Angie who takes a job babysitting a young strange boy named Sam. What is it that Sam is always wearing? I've never heard of this one either. It's again from 2009, like the other one. Babysitter Wanted. What is Sam always wearing? A black cape, a cowboy hat, a clown mask, or a Lone Ranger mask? I'm not familiar with this movie. It's just purely random guess. I'm going to say a clown mask because lots of people are afraid of clowns. Okay, what is the name of the camp in the 1983 slasher Sleepaway Camp? I have seen this movie, but I don't know the name of the camp off the top of my head. Camp North Star, Camp Blackfoot, Camp Arawak, Camp Utopia. Well, Arawak is ringing a bell for some reason, but I have absolutely no confidence in it. But my gut is telling me that one. That's the only one that rung a bell a little bit. Actor Ron Jeremy stars in a 2005 film as Blank the Butcher, Bob the Butcher, Andre the Butcher, Charlie the Butcher, or Ronald the Butcher. I have not known like any of these in this particular quiz. Bob the Butcher is alliterative, so I will say that one as a random guess. Okay, the 2002 horror movie May is about a lonely young woman played by Angela Bettis who falls for a guy named Adam, Jeremy Sisto. There's one feature in particular about Adam that May loves best. What is it? His brown wavy hair, his eyes, his hands, or his chest? Pretty sure it's his hands. I've seen this movie. May is a pretty good, semi-underrated horror movie. I don't know how obscure it is. I don't really hear people talk about it often. The whole premise is she kills people and takes their body parts to assemble like the perfect man or whatever. So it's his hands. What is the name of the 1986 horror film that stars actress Tawny Kitaen as a woman possessed after playing with a Ouija board? Which board? The Possession, Ouija, or Don't Go to Sleep? 1986, I believe, would be Witchboard. What is the real name of the motel in the 1980 film Motel Hell? Motel Hello, Motel Hellstein, Motel Helden & Co., or Motel Hellmans? I believe it's Motel Hello, which is a real motel chain. It's not like made up for the movie. So at least that's the real motel chain that the movie is basing its title on. I don't know if they made a fictional one within the movie because I haven't seen this, but it's Motel Hello is a real chain. Okay, which of these house movies was directed by Lucio Fulci? Is about a family moving into a house that has something creepy inhabiting their basement. The House by the Park, The House by the Cemetery, Last House in the Woods, Last House on Dead End Street. That would be The House by the Cemetery, which is it's an okay movie. Definitely not Fulci's best. What is the name of the 2006 horror film that is about a killer luchador wrestler who hunts and kills 6 lost travelers in Mexico? The Legend of Luchador, WrestleManiac, Deathmatch, or Headlock of Horror. This one is, I have no fucking clue. Let's go with Deathmatch, random guess. The 2009 horror film titled The Uninvited. Oh, I've seen this movie. It's not good at all. Stars Emily Browning and Elizabeth Banks. Which 2003 horror film from South Korea is this film a remake of? I was actually thinking of a different movie called The Unwanted, but I do know the answer to this. It's A Tale of Two Sisters, because I know that they remade A Tale of Two Sisters. Also, A Tale of Two Sisters was horribly ripped off in that movie Goodnight Mommy, which might as well have been a remake of A Tale of Two Sisters because it's the exact same movie. And then they did a remake of Goodnight Mommy in America, an English language remake of that one. So basically a Hungarian movie ripped off the South Korean movie, and then they did an American remake of the Hungarian ripoff of the South Korean movie that had already gotten an American remake. Anyway, the answer is A Tale of Two Sisters. The 2007 film called The Mad, which stars Billy Zane, is about rabbit hounds, parasite worms, illegal human experiments, or zombies. I'm not familiar with this. I will guess parasite worms. Which of these trauma films released in 1989 is about a killer lawnmower that chases and massacres victims on a golf course? Blades, Final Cuts, The Greenskeeper, or Killer on the Green? Again, I don't know this one. This is a tough quiz, this one. I'm going to guess The Greenskeeper. Okay, Father's Day, The Crate, and They're Creeping Up on You are three of the 5 short films in which horror comedy anthology? Tales from the Dark Side of the Movie, Creepshow, Campfire Tales, or Twists of Terror? That would be Creepshow. Okay. I lost my place here. Okay. This 1988 horror film with the movie tagline, The Family That Slays Together Stays Together, stars Rod Steiger and Yvonne DiCarlo as the demented parents of 3 grown, insane children. One by one, they slaughter a group of young people who are invited to stay at the family's home. What is the name of this film? Head of the Family, American Gothic, The Gathering, The House on Dead End Lane. The only one of these I've seen is Head of the Family, and it was fucking awful. I couldn't tell you who was in it or whatever. It might be that one. 88, though? I feel like that movie came out a little later. American Gothic, possibly. I'm going to guess American Gothic. Okay, that was all of them. Let's submit. I did terribly on this one. Okay, I guessed correctly on that first one, Novelist. That one was wrong. Let's see. I got the Sleepaway Camp one right with a guess. The Ron Jeremy one was wrong. May was right. Witchboard was right. Motel Hello was right. Ghost by the Cemetery. WrestleManiac I got wrong. The Mad I got wrong. The Blades, the Trauma movie I got wrong. Creepshow was right. Oh, American Gothic was right. Actually, I didn't do as bad as I thought on that one. A couple of my random guesses were correct. Okay, moving on. Classic horror movies trivia quiz. So these are like older movies, which is a little tougher, I think. Which of these films did not feature both Karloff and Lugosi? Isle of the Dead, The Black Cat, The Raven, and Black Friday. So both Karloff and Lugosi. I know that they're both in The Black Cat and The Raven. I think they're both in Black Friday, so my guess is Isle of the Dead. But it could be Black Friday, I guess. I haven't narrowed down to those two. What is the significance of Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman? It was the only time those two characters appeared together. It featured Karloff as the scientist, not the monster. It was the only Universal film where Karloff didn't play the monster, and Lugosi finally got to play Frankenstein's monster. Those are all good options, because those are all, like, plausible. I don't think it's the first one, because I think Frankenstein and the Wolfman are both in Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. I think the Wolfman pops up in that one, so I don't think it's that one. It features Karloff as the scientist, not the monster. It could be that one. Lugosi finally got to play Frankenstein's monster. So I know that Lugosi, I think he passed on that role, and then it ended up being really successful and he regretted that, so that was a big deal. And I do think he played Frankenstein eventually. I'm like positive. I can picture him in the makeup. So I'm going to say this one. Okay, in a shameless display of Hollywood exploitation, Rondo Hatton was a man with a disfiguring affliction whose elongated face was featured in horror films such as The Brood Man and House of Horrors. What disease did he suffer from? That's a stupid fucking question. Because that has nothing to do with the movies themselves. What disease did he suffer from? I don't fucking know. Bell's palsy, whatever. I don't like that question. Okay. Which mummy flick is not a universal film? The Mummy's Tomb, The Mummy's Ghost, The Mummy's Shroud, and The Mummy's Hand. I'm pretty sure Hand, Shroud, and Tomb are all Universal Mummy movies, which makes me think it's Ghost by process of elimination. Which of these films was remade in the 50s as House of Wax with Vincent Price? Return of Dr. X, Waxworks, Mystery of the Wax Museum, and Horrors of the Wax Museum. That is Mystery of the Wax Museum. I've seen both of these and the 2000s remake. I like House of Wax, the Vincent Price version. The remake's not awful as far as like 2000s remakes go. It was doing something very different at least. Okay, in Mel Brooks's Young Frankenstein, there is a nutty police inspector with one wooden arm. This was based on a similar character played by Lionel Atwill in which Frankenstein film? Bride of Frankenstein, Ghost of Frankenstein, Son of Frankenstein, or House of Frankenstein? It's not Bride, because I know that character came later than Bride. I don't know which one it is, other than eliminating that one, though. I don't think it's House either, for some reason. So it could be Ghost or Son. Let's guess Son of Frankenstein. What was the first screen version of The Island of Dr. Moreau called? Voodoo Island, The Monster Maker, The Uninvited, or Island of Lost Souls? Okay, so I don't know the answer to this one. I could guess either the first or fourth one. Let's go Voodoo Island as a random guess. Okay, in what horror film did Humphrey Bogart appear as a vampire? Return of the Vampire, Son of Dracula, Dracula's Daughter, or The Return of Dr. X? I didn't know that Humphrey Bogart ever played a vampire. So I have no idea. Let's guess Return of Dr. X. No, let's guess Return of the Vampire. Okay, which monster did Abbott and Costello not beat? The Ghoul, the Killer Boris Karloff, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, or the Invisible Man? I have seen the Abbott and Costello horror, but it was so long ago. I don't remember it very clearly. They beat Frankenstein. I don't remember if they did a like meta thing with Boris Karloff also being in it. I guess they could have, but it would have been strange. I'll guess Boris Karloff. What is the Ghoul though? That's not like a famous movie monster. I'm gonna say the Ghoul actually. But did they beat Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? I don't know. It could be any of those. I'm pretty sure they met the Invisible Man. Or whatever. I'll say the Ghoul. Once again, which is not a Karloff Lugosi film? Son of Frankenstein, The Body Snatcher, The Invisible Ray, and The Terror. So they're both in Son of Frankenstein and The Body Snatcher, I believe. I'm not familiar with The Invisible Ray. The Terror, I know, has Boris Karloff, but I don't think Lugosi is in it. I think that one's just Karloff, so I'm going to say The Terror, but I'm not sure. Let's see if I'm right here. Okay, what did I get wrong? I got the long face, disfiguring whatever wrong. I don't care about that one. Okay, Mummy's Shroud. I got the mummy question wrong. I got the Island of Dr. Moreau one wrong. I got the Humphrey Bogart vampire one wrong. I got the Abbott and Costello one right, and I did get the Terror right. Okay. So 6 out of 10, not very good on that one. Okay, there's more fun trivia, but let's jump to BuzzFeed. A BuzzFeed horror trivia question. I don't know if BuzzFeed's trivia offerings are any good. I'm not too familiar with BuzzFeed. I know they're very ubiquitous or whatever, but okay. So this one says it will start easy and get more difficult with each question. Let's see if that's true. Which horror movie was shot entirely with a handheld camera like a documentary? Psycho, Saw, Blair Witch Project, A Quiet Place. That's definitely the Blair Witch Project. Okay. The quote, "Here's Johnny," is from a classic horror film. The Shining. Yeah, come on, it's The Shining. Which horror author has the most adaptations made from his best-selling books? Bram Stoker, Stephen King, Clive Barker, or Robert Bloch? It's definitely not Robert Bloch. He is just Psycho. Basically, he's just Psycho, and he wrote his Psycho sequel books. It's not Clive Barker, though he has had a bunch of books adapted as well. It could be Stephen King, but the thing is, there are so many Dracula movies, it actually could be Bram Stoker, even though it's just Dracula. There have been so many Dracula movies. This is actually kind of a tricky question, I would say, because Stephen King has obviously had so many different books, but there are so many Dracula movies. I feel like it might be Stephen King anyway, because how many Dracula movies are really adapted from the Dracula book? Because like, are we counting Nosferatu and all the Nosferatu versions? Because famously it was called Nosferatu because they didn't want to get the rights to the book and all that. So it's not really an adaptation. It's kind of like a ripoff, you could say. So does that count? Are they factoring those into the figures here? What are we thinking? With Stephen King, it's obviously more books, but his books tend to be made once or twice at most. I think it might be Stephen King anyway. Does anyone in the chat have a guess for this one between these two, Bram Stoker and Stephen King? I don't know how long the delay is on the chat. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and guess. Let's guess. Oh, man, this is really a tricky one, actually. Okay, someone in this chat says, I'd go with King. I'll go with you. I'll go with King. I think I'm leaning towards King anyway, because it's so many different books. The guy's written like dozens and dozens and dozens of books. Let's go King. Okay, I was right. Whew. That's a tricky question. That's a tricky question. Okay. What classic horror movie was the first to depict someone being stabbed to death in the shower? The Exorcist, Halloween, Scream, or Psycho? That is Scream. I mean Psycho. I clicked Psycho and meant Psycho, but I said Scream for some reason. Okay. Which is the highest grossing horror movie ever? The Exorcist, Annabelle, Scream, or It Chapter 1? Actually, I actually don't know. Because are we counting the re-release of The Exorcist? Because that makes a big difference, because that one gets released in theaters, has been a couple times. I don't think it's Scream. Annabelle was weirdly successful, but of all time, I don't think so. The thing is, like, when you compare it by budget, right, like lowest budget to highest grossing, then like Blair Witch Project and Paranormal Activity are way up there. But I guess not factoring in by budget. Honestly, it could be It Chapter 1, because I know that was a huge phenomenon. Adjusted for inflation, it might be The Exorcist. I want it to be The Exorcist. And that was the one that, had the Oscars and all that, which definitely does boost the movie's box office. I'm going to say The Exorcist. No, it was It Chapter 1. Yeah. And see, I feel like, I don't think It Chapter 1 is like a terrible movie, but I do think that the influence it has had on horror being as successful as it was is not good. I'll just leave it at that. Okay. Which 1990s scary film features a serial killer fisherman seeking revenge against 4 teenagers? I Know What You Did Last Summer, Friday the 13th, Scream, and The Haunting. I haven't seen I Know What You Did Last Summer, but I know that that's the answer here. This is one of the only like big slash movies I haven't seen, just because it doesn't interest me in the slightest. But I should probably get around to it eventually. Okay, what horror movie is famous for the line, "Do you like scary movies"? Sixth Sense, The Ring, Quiet Place, or Scream? It's Scream. Okay, how many people associated with the making of The Exorcist died before the movie released? 3, 8, 9, or 12? So this was a question on the other quiz as well. but it's the one that I left before getting the answers to, so I didn't find out the answer. I still don't know. I think 3, 8, and 9 were all answers on the other one too. I was guessing 3 on that one. The fact that it's a question almost seems like it should be more, but I don't know. It's got to be 3, right? 9 fucking people died on that movie. That is crazy. 9 people died before the release. That is definitely noteworthy and worth making a question about. Okay. In the horror movie Get Out, how does Chris avoid being hypnotized? He puts cotton in his ears. He wears a blindfold. He closes his eyes. He screams. I actually don't remember. I don't think he wears a blindfold. I don't remember that. He puts cotton in his ears? I guess it could be that. He closes his eyes. That feels like too easy. He screams. I don't know how that avoids being hypnotized either. Huh. I don't remember. I saw Get Out in the theater, and I haven't rewatched it since. I'm going to guess cotton in the ears. Okay, correct. Yeah, it was just a good guess there. Okay. Which famous actress made her big screen debut in the 1993 horror film The Leprechaun? Uma Thurman, Alicia Silverstone, Glenn Close, or Jennifer Aniston? I haven't seen The Leprechaun either, but I'm pretty sure it's Jennifer Aniston. Yeah, she was in that. Okay. Which Japanese horror movie inspired its blockbuster Hollywood counterpart, The Ring? Well, this is an easy one. Ringu. Basically the same title. Okay. Oh, that was the full thing. Only 11 questions. 9 out of 11. Uh-oh. That's prophetic of something, I'm sure. Okay. And we're back to fun trivia. Okay, we're up to John's horror movie mixture trivia quiz. I picked this one because it had 6 parts, and that seemed interesting to me. If the first one sucks, I won't do the other parts, but we'll see how it goes. Okay. Which of these horror movies was the first to see a release date? Halloween, Carrie, Friday the 13th, or Black Christmas? I think Black Christmas. I'm pretty sure. Because I think that one's from like the late 60s. Oh, I won't find out to the end. But I'm pretty sure it's Black Christmas. Okay. Where did Cujo get bitten? I haven't seen Cujo. I'm going to watch Cujo this October, I think. It's on my list of possible horror movies to get to this October, but I haven't seen it yet. So I have no idea. I'm going to guess the paw. Okay. Margaret said they're all going to laugh at you. What movie is this a quote from? Sleepaway Camp, Carrie, Dress to Kill, or Silent Night, Deadly Night? I'm going to guess Silent Night, Deadly Night. Is that right? I don't know. I'm kind of just guessing. I don't think it's Dress to Kill, and I don't think it's Carrie or Sleep. I don't know. Process of Elimination, I'm going Silent Night, Deadly Night, but that one, there's a good chance that one's wrong. Okay, who briefly directed Piranha 2: The Spawning? Briefly directed. Brian De Palma, James Cameron, Steven Spielberg, or Wes Craven? I think it's James Cameron. I'm pretty sure he took over for that one. I'm pretty sure it's James Cameron. I'm like 90% sure on that one. Okay, which movie's tagline says old school American horror? Hatchet, Prom Night, Hell High, or Fright Night? Well, I could see it being Fright Night because Fright Night came out in the 80s, but it was very much homaging like older, like classic Universal horror movies with the like Peter Vincent guy and all that. So I can see it being that. That one makes the most sense. So I'm going to guess that one. Okay, Sleepaway Camp, how did Angela's dad die? Angela's dad didn't die. Angela's dad was killed by a machete. Angela's dad was killed in a boating accident, or Angela's dad was killed in a hunting accident. So there's a boating accident at the start of the movie, but the boating accident kills the sibling. I don't remember if the dad and the sibling both die, or if just the sibling dies. I'm going to say boating accident, because I know there's a boating accident in it. How did Ben die in Halloween 2? Michael killed Ben with a kitchen knife. None of these answers are correct. Michael drowned Ben in a whirlpool tub. Michael snapped Ben's neck while he was drinking a soda. Well, I know someone dies in a whirlpool tub. Obviously, a lot of people die with a kitchen knife. I'm going to guess whirlpool tub. What song did the little girl sing in the Friday the 13th sequel? I'm a Little Teapot, Itsy Bitsy Spider, Mr. Rabbit, Hickory Dickory Dock. I have a vague memory of I'm a Little Teapot. No, I don't. Itsy Bitsy Spider. The rain washed the spider out, right? I have a vague memory of someone singing that. I'm going to guess that one. What was the tagline for Piranha 3D? Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water, don't. 3D has never had a bite like this. The summer you will be what they sink their teeth into, or this summer 3D shows its teeth. None of these is ringing a bell. I will guess this one randomly. Okay. In Silent Night, Deadly Night, how did Billy's parents get killed? Billy's parents were killed by Santa Claus. They died in a fire, a car accident, or killed by his grandfather. I've only seen Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. The super cheesy, ridiculous one. I didn't watch the first one. I'm going to say car accident as a guess. Let's see how I did. Okay, I got the Cujo one wrong, which I haven't seen. Carrie was the wrong one to laugh at you. Hatchet was old school American horror. I don't agree with that. What is old school about Hatchet? I don't think Hatchet's very good. Hatchet's just a very generic slasher movie. None of these are correct. In how did Ben die in Halloween 2? Who remembers which one Ben is of the dozens of cannon fodder of the Halloween series? Oh, who knows Ben by name alone? Nobody knows fucking Ben. Come on. Okay, I got the tagline for Piranha wrong, and I got the Silent Night, Deadly Night one wrong. Okay. Oh, they really were all killed by Santa Claus. Okay. A guy dressed as Santa Claus, more like. Okay. That was a decent quiz. Let's do Ben's horror movie mixture part 2. What was the occupation of Jennifer Hills in Day of the Woman? So, okay. This is tricky because Day of the Woman was the alternate title of I Spit on Your Grave, which is the much more commonly known title. So to get this question right, you need to remember that I Spit on Your Grave is also known as Day of the Woman. That's a tricky question to start off with, because I think it's mostly known as I Spit on Your Grave. That's what they called the all the sequels and the remake and all that. And in that, I believe she's a writer. I think she goes on vacation to write. She has a little diary she writes in. Okay, who was Sarah dating when Harry Warden returned to town in My Bloody Valentine? I don't remember the names of any of these characters. My Bloody Valentine's 3D is the remake, right? Or is that a sequel? I think the remake was in 3D. I don't know. Axel is the coolest name. Let's go with that one. Okay, the most terrifying creature of... I did not read that correctly. The most terrifying nightmare of childhood is about to return was the tagline for which horror movie? Halloween 2, Halloween, The Boogeyman 2. Okay, so Nightmare of Childhood makes the most sense for Boogeyman series, though they do call Michael Myers the Boogeyman in Halloween. Return makes sense for Boogeyman 2, so let's go with that, but that's just pure guess. What did Abby use to kill Mother in the movie Mother's Day? Okay, I've seen Mother's Day. Inflatable dog-shaped pillow, inflatable boob pillow, blanket, or plastic bag? I think it's inflatable boob pillow, as ridiculous as that sounds. That rings a bell for sure. Not a good movie. Okay. Who was responsible for Mary Lou's death in Prom Night 2? I respect the question about Prom Night 2 because that is a super underrated horror movie that is really good. I recommend Prom Night 2. Full title is Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2, by the way. Really good movie, much better than the first Prom Night. Also has nothing to do with the first Prom Night. I recommend the movie, but I don't fucking remember the name of the person who was responsible for her death. Buddy, I don't know. I don't like when a question is the name of a completely unmemorable character. Okay, after the death of his wife and daughter in The Changeling, where did John rent a house? I've seen The Changeling. The Changeling is weird because there's another movie called The Changeling, that one with Angelina Jolie that Clint Eastwood directed. And for the longest time, I thought it was a remake. And it's actually just a completely unrelated movie that happens to have the exact same title. They have nothing in common. They're completely unrelated plots. So yeah, the original I've seen and I enjoy. I mean, I've seen both of them. I've seen the original and I enjoy it. I think it's a pretty good ghost movie of the poltergeist variety. Where does he rent a house? Brooklyn, New York, Raleigh, North Carolina, Baltimore, Maryland, or Seattle, Washington. So New York kind of rings a bell, but I don't think it's Brooklyn, New York. I think he's in like upstate New York. So I don't think it's that, because I think he's in like more of a wooded, rural kind of area, which I don't think there are wooded areas in Brooklyn. But maybe they are. I'm not like a New York expert. Brooklyn's in the city, right? Or is there like part of it that's outside? I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate that on my perception of New York. Raleigh, North Carolina. I don't think it's North Carolina. Baltimore, Maryland, or Seattle, Washington. I feel like it is on the East Coast. So I don't think it's Washington, which has me leaning towards Baltimore, Maryland, but Baltimore is also a big city. But there are more rural parts of Baltimore than there are of Brooklyn, I think. I could be way wrong. I'm not like an expert in geography. I'm going to guess Baltimore, Maryland, because I feel like it's East Coast, but more rural. Maybe that makes it North Carolina, because North Carolina is over there, but it's more southern. And I don't think it's that far south. I'm going to guess Baltimore, Maryland. If anyone in the chat knows, correct me. Okay. It rests over 13 acres of earth over the very center of hell was a tagline for which horror movie? Hell High, Hellraiser, Last House on the Left, or Hellbent. It's the Last House on the Left, even though that's just a complete lie in the movie, and that has nothing to do with the movie. This is also the movie that had the tagline, to keep yourself from fainting, keep repeating it's only a movie, which is also a fun tagline. Whoever did the marketing for this movie was on their A game for Last House on the Left. Unless I'm wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure I've seen this tagline on the poster for Last House on the Left. That means that Last House on the Left has like two very memorable taglines. What flavor of ice cream did Michael tell his mom he wanted in the movie Jaws? I don't remember. Chocolate, coffee, vanilla, or Rocky Road? Let's guess Rocky Road, but I don't remember. Where did Eddie arrange to meet Karen in The Howling? Adult theater, bar, strip club, or vacant building? I think it's adult theater. I feel like I remember that. It's been a while since I watched The Howling. It's been a few years. In the movie by the same name, what type of vehicle was Christine? Okay, I know Christine is a Fury, but is it a Dodge Fury, a Chevy Fury, a Ford Fury, a Plymouth Fury? I think it's Plymouth Fury. I'm not a car person, but Plymouth Fury sounds right to me. Is it a Dodge Fury? It could be. I think Plymouth Fury. I know it's, whatever it is, it's a Fury. Okay, in the movie Psycho, what was the name of the town Sam lived in? Sam Loomis, I guess. Why are they asking about Sam in Psycho? Did they mean Norman Bates? Okay, Antonio Bay, Haddonfield, Bodega Bay, or Fairvale? Well, Haddonfield is Halloween. I think it's Bodega Bay. None of these is like, I love Psycho. Why are they asking Sam Loomis, though? It's not like he's the main character. Wonder if that's a typo. They meant Norman. I don't know. Bodega Bay is what I'm going with. Okay. How did Ted die in Friday the 13th Part 2? Again, which one is Ted? Ted did not die in the movie. Ted was drowned by Jason in a lake. Ted was killed with a knife to the face. Ted was killed with a machete to the head. How is anyone supposed to remember which of the cannon fodder slasher victims is which? Like, which one's Ted? Actually, you know what? I feel like Ted is the one that Crispin Glover yells to about the corkscrew. Ted, where the hell's the corkscrew? That sounds right. Is there more than one Ted in this series? If Ted is the one that Crispin Glover yells to, then that's Friday the 13th Part 4, I think. So Ted did not die in this movie. That's my guess. He's not in this one. That could be way wrong. Okay. What were the names of the twins in Prom Night, the original? Alex and Kim, Robert and Alex, Kim and Nick, or Nick and Wendy? I only care about Prom Night 2. I don't give a shit about Prom Night 1. The original Prom Night, I don't know. Nick and Wendy. Nick and Kim, whatever. Okay. In Halloween 2, how did Michael die? Michael didn't die in the movie. Michael was crushed to death in a cave-in. Michael was set on fire and burned alive. Laurie stabbed him to death. He was set on fire and burned alive because there's the oxygen tank, and Dr. Loomis shoots the oxygen tank. Lights on Fire. Okay. I mean, you could say he didn't die because he does come back in the fourth movie. So is that a trick question? Because, like, in the movie, he died. But in the franchise, he didn't die. So which is which? Because it's like the fourth one was retconning him dying. The answer could be either or, depending on how the person making the quiz interpreted it. Okay, how did Katie die in Ghost Ship? Okay, well, I've seen Ghost Ship, but only on like FX on TV many, many years ago. Okay, Katie was thrown overboard and drowned. Katie was split in half by the wire that snapped. Katie died by hanging. Katie was shot and fell in the pool. So the wire that snapped is easily the most memorable part of Ghost Ship. It happens right at the very beginning, though. And I don't remember who Katie is by name, but I'm guessing she's the protagonist, which would mean she didn't die in the opening scene. I think she's like the little girl who's the only one who survives because she's short enough that it goes over their heads. Oh, was that question about Rob Zombie's Halloween or the old one? Good question. Oh, good question. 2009. I completely missed that. Yeah, it is about the remake. I completely missed that. Okay, how did he die in the remake? I think maybe he doesn't die in the remake. Because I know he takes the mask off, he shouts die as he's strangling somebody. Maybe Laurie stabbed him to death in the remake? Good catch on that. I don't remember how he died or if he died in the remake. I reviewed it like a year or two ago, and it's already left my memory. It was not a good one. But I know he wasn't set on fire and burned alive. They changed that for the remake. She might have stabbed him, or he didn't die. He never made a third one, which makes me think they probably killed him. I'm not sure. And then for Ghost Ship, let's say shot and fell in the pool. I don't know. Okay. Let's see. What did I get? I'm just going to go through what I got wrong here. Yeah, the name of the fucking guy in My Bloody Valentine, I did not guess. It was Boogeyman, not Boogeyman 2 for that tagline. Another, name of the faceless cannon fodder I got wrong. Not surprised with that. So it was Seattle, Washington. Okay, I was wrong about the East Coast thing. But that makes more sense, like, rurality-wise. Is that a word? I don't think that's a word. Okay, Last House on the Left was right. Coffee, ice cream, and Jaws. I don't know. That's kind of a Fairvale in Psycho. Okay, I feel like that's what I should know, but one of those rang a bell for me for whatever reason. Oh, I got the Ted one right. So I think Ted is the one that Crispin Glover is yelling to. Okay, what were the names of the twins in Prom Night? Yeah, definitely wasn't getting that. Oh, okay, yeah, Laurie stabbed him to death. Thank you for catching the remake thing, because that got this one right for us. And then Ghost Ship died by hanging. Okay. Honestly, with Ghost Ship, the only scene I can remember really is that opening with the wire snapping, because that's a great horror scene. The rest of the movie never really lives up to that, unfortunately. Okay, part 3. I'm liking John's horror quiz, even though some of the questions are a little bullshit. What I'm liking about John's horror movie mixture is his selection of movies. I'd say it's a good eclectic mix. Lots of like more obscure, some underrated horror movies in there. But I don't like that so many of the questions are like, what was the name of this random victim in the slasher movie? I don't like those kinds of questions. Okay, how did Mickey die in Return to Sleepaway Camp? I've only seen the first Sleepaway Camp. And to be honest, I'm not really interested in ever seeing the sequels. So let's just guess a random one. Okay, he was stabbed with nails that were in a plywood board. He was skinned alive. He was burned in a fryer of hot grease. Someone dies that way in the first movie, so I think it's not that one, unless they repeated it. He was tied to a tree and castrated by a jeep. Well, that sounds fun. I'm going to guess that one. What kind of car did ferryman find in the ship's holding area in the movie Ghost Ship? You got 2 Ghost Ship questions, John? That's a little... 2 Ghost Ship questions? Come on. Jaguar, Porsche, Rolls-Royce, Mercedes. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a car person. Let's guess Rolls-Royce. What superhero did Heather Menzies' character make reference to in Piranha, the original version? I can't even remember if I've ever seen Piranha, the original Piranha. I don't think I have. I think I saw Piranha 2 and I saw the first Piranha remake. I don't think I ever watched the first Piranha, but maybe I did. I don't know. What character? I mean, Aquaman is on theme, so I'll guess that one, but I have no idea. What was the name of the institution Esther escaped from in Orphan? I've seen Orphan, but it was like at a party on TV and I was not really paying attention. So I don't know. The SARN Institute, Estonia Mental Health Institute, Sarsgaard Institute, Isabel Furman Institute of Mental Health. Yeah, I definitely was not paying enough attention to the movie to pick up on that. I will guess SARN Institute. Okay, what was the name of the hospital in Let Me In? Another name, the hospital thing? Okay, Let Me In is the remake, right? Let the Right One In is the original, then Let Me In is the remake. So yeah, I've only seen the original. New Mexico State Hospital, Thomas Alfredson Memorial Hospital. Well, Thomas Alfredson is the name of the guy who directed the original. So did they reference him in the remake by naming the hospital after him? That's a possibility. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. And okay, we're back. Did they reference the original director by naming the hospital after him? I'm going to guess that just because I haven't seen the movie, and that's, I got to guess one randomly anyway. Okay, the class of 81 is running out of time was the tagline for which movie? Slaughter High, Prom Night, Graduation Day, or Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2? Pretty sure Prom Night 2 was way after 81. I think it was like 86 or 87 or something. I don't think it was Prom Night either. I guess it could be Prom Night, but I'm going to guess Slaughter High. What did Helen wake up to find in the movie I Know What You Did Last Summer? Like I mentioned earlier, I haven't seen this one. This is one of the big slashers I've never watched. I guess I should watch it because it is like one of the only big slashers I haven't seen. That and, I don't know, do we count Leprechaun as one of the big slashers? Because I've never seen that either. Other than that, I think I've seen all the big slashers. Not all the sequels to all the big slashers. Okay, both of these are correct. The word soon had been written on her mirror. Her hair had been cut off. Neither of these things happened to Helen. Well, I haven't seen the movie, so I have no clue. Let's go ahead and guess the word soon is written on the mirror. Okay. Who are the children of the Riverton Ripper in My Soul to Take? Okay, I have seen My Soul to Take. I thought it sucked. That's Wes Craven's penultimate movie, right? Unless I'm getting the title mixed up or something. It was awful. Who are the and again, what were their names? These completely bland, unmemorable, forgettable characters. Adam and Leah, sure. Okay, what was the name of Ed Harley's son in the movie Pumpkinhead? I like Pumpkinhead. Pumpkinhead's a fun one. I don't remember the name of his son, though. So many of these questions are just what was the name of the character, which I'm not a fan of. But I like the movie selection, at least. So let's guess Billy. Who played the role of Franklin in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original version? I could have told you his name was Franklin in the wheelchair. His name is Franklin Hardesty is the last name. As far as the actor's name, though, I don't know. William Vale, Jim Sydow, Edwin Neal, or Paul A. Partain. Actually, I think it's Paul A. Partain, because that rings a bell. So does Edwin Neal, but Edwin Neal played the hitchhiker, I think. I'm pretty sure Edwin Neal was the hitchhiker, which makes me think Paul A. Partain is Franklin, because that's the only other one of these names that really rings a bell. Jim Sydow sounds a little familiar, I guess. But okay, let's see how I did. Got the Sleepaway Camp one wrong, the car one wrong. Yeah, not surprised by that. Not surprised by the Piranha one either. I guessed the Orphan Institute correctly. That was a random one. They did not name the mental hospital after the original director. Missed opportunity, I would say. Class of 81 is running out of time was Graduation Day. Both of these are correct. Oh, I thought that's what I picked. I guess I did the mirror one. I randomly guessed the children's name correctly. Most of these were random guesses, honestly. And I got Polly Partain correct at least. Okay. Let's skip John's other ones because a lot of these are just the names. Okay, we got 3 left here. Horror movie multiple choice. Pretty basic title here. Which of the following movies is about a guy named Marty seeking revenge on those who did him wrong in high school? Slaughter High, The In Crowd, The Mangler, or Dead Alive? It's not Dead Alive. I don't know if it's The Mangler. It's probably Slaughter High. Okay, which movie takes place in a sorority house in which its housemates receive a series of creepy phone calls? Maniac, Slaughterhouse, Sorority House Massacre, or Black Christmas? It's got to be Black Christmas because those are some creepy-ass phone calls in Black Christmas. That's probably like the most effectively frightening part of that movie is those phone calls. Those were very, very well done. Which of the following was not directed by Italian filmmaker Mario Bava? I like this question. But the tricky thing with this is Mario Bava's movies all have like a dozen alternate titles. So that's going to make this hard. Okay, Lisa and the Devil, A Blade in the Dark, Black Sunday, or Evil Eye. He definitely did Black Sunday. He definitely did Evil Eye. A Blade in the Dark and Lisa and the Devil. I'm leaning toward Lisa and the Devil right off the bat. But A Blade in the Dark, I'm not positive on either. I'm sure these are movies that all have several alternate titles. I'm going to guess Lisa and the Devil. Which Friday the 13th sequel involves a girl with telekinetic powers? So I just watched all of the Friday the 13th movies that I hadn't yet seen. You can see my thoughts on those over on Letterboxd, by the way, if you want. That's I'm at Brickwall_ on Letterboxd if you're trying to follow me over there. You got to put in the underscore because Letterboxd's search function sucks. Anyway, so I just finished watching all the sequels of this Friday the 13th series. 6 was the one that really impressed me and was really good. And I think the telekinetic powers was directly after that. So I think it's number 7. Okay, this Christmas horror movie is about a guy dressed as Santa Claus killing those who have been naughty. What is it? Silent Night, Deadly Night, Black Christmas, Home for the Holidays, or Christmas Evil? I think Silent Night, Deadly Night, right? Does he dress as Santa Claus in that? Pretty sure he does. I've seen Christmas Evil, but I don't remember it. I watched it with Joe Bob hosting. I think I fell asleep during Christmas Evil, so I don't really remember, to be fair. Okay. In which of these movies does the killer wear a yellow raincoat? Just Before Dawn, Alice, Sweet Alice, April Fool's Day, or The Slumber Party Massacre 3? That would be Alice, Sweet Alice, I think, based on I've seen the poster. I'm pretty sure there's a rain jacket on the poster. I haven't actually seen the movie, though. This 80s slasher film is about a hotel owner who knocks off the guests with a hand scythe. What is it? The Madman, Deep in the Woods, Landlady, or Mountaintop Motel Massacre? Well, there is a guy who owns a motel who kills with a scythe in that Tobe Hooper movie, Eaten Alive, which is not an option. That might have been the late 70s instead of 80s. At any rate, it's not an option here. And I think maybe it was a brothel instead of a hotel. This could be any of these because I'm not sure. Let's guess The Madman. Which psychological thriller is about 2 parents grieving over the death of their daughter? Don't Look Now, Vertigo, Repulsion, or Let's Scare Jessica to Death? That would be Don't Look Now, which is a good one. Phenomenal ending. That's the highlight of the movie. This Dario Argento movie is about a pianist who witnesses a murder and then plays detective to try to find the killer. Phenomena, Suspiria, Deep Red, or Tenebrae? I think it's Deep Red. He's a pianist in that, right? I think it's that, yeah. I haven't seen Phenomena, but I think it's Deep Red. I love Deep Red. I'm not 100% sure if he's a pianist or not. I know it's about a guy who plays detective to try to find a killer. But it's possible Phenomena was also about that because that was pretty much a Giallo staple. Okay, this Scream Queen made her horror debut in the movie Stepford Wives, The Stepford Wives. Dee Wallace, Leslie Donaldson, Margot Kidder, or Karen Black. I've never seen The Stepford Wives. This is just a guess. Let's guess Dee Wallace. No, let's guess. Margot Kidder was in Black Christmas, I think, so I don't think it's her. Dee Wallace, I think, was like the mom in something before Stepford Wives came out. Let's guess Donaldson here, who I have not heard of. Okay, a lot of these were random guesses, but Slaughter High was right. Black Christmas was right. A Blade in the Dark. I got that one wrong. Friday the 13th, Part 7, that was right. Silent Night, Deadly Night was right. Alice, Sweet Alice was right. Mountaintop Motel Massacre. I got that one wrong. Don't Look Now was right. Deep Red was right. And it was Dee Wallace. Okay. Right, yeah, The Hills Have Eyes. I guess I thought The Hills Have Eyes was before The Stepford Wives. Maybe I'm thinking of a Stepford Wives remake or something. Okay, our penultimate trivia quiz is the things that go bump in the night. A widower moves into a large old mansion to work on his music. It's not too long before he starts realizing there is something very wrong going on in the house. He discovers he is not alone and is sharing his home with a boy named Joseph. What is the name of this less popular 80s horror movie? The Changeling, House, The Entity, or Amityville 2, The Possession? This is The Changeling, which we had a question about earlier on one of the other quizzes. An asbestos cleaning crew decides to take a job at an old abandoned mental hospital. Things seem to be going to plan until one of the crew members mysteriously disappears. The tension between the killers or between the cleaners worsens as they begin to discover that everything is not as it seems in the hospital. What 2001 horror movie is this? The Brood, Asylum, Session 9, or Them? That is Session 9, which I saw a long, long time ago. It is set in an asylum, which is, a little tricky to make that an option, but it's Session 9, I think. Frank and his family, along with his soon-to-be son-in-law, are on their way to visit their relatives for Christmas. To save time, Frank chooses to take a shortcut, which he has never done before. It turns out to be the worst mistake of his life as his family members begin to die one by one in this 2003 B-movie. Name the film. High Tension, Dead End, Reconstruction, or Highway to Hell. I watched this like 2 years ago, and I didn't like it at all. It stars Ray Wise, I can tell you that, because I like him. He was in it. I think it was called Dead End. I'm pretty sure. It's definitely not High Tension. It's definitely not Reconstruction. I guess it could have been Highway to Hell. I think it was called Dead End. And I did not like it. Okay. Alice is a beautiful teenager who goes missing, whose body is later discovered. This film follows her family as they mourn her death and deal with strange happenings around their town. They also begin to dig deeper into Alice's life to further understand what really happened to her. What 2008 Aussie horror film is this? I'm liking this quiz because these are good movies. They're like sort of deep cuts. This is Lake Mungo, which I have recommended several times on, I think on Brickwall Unplugged here and over on Brickwall Pictures, my main channel. Lake Mungo, phenomenal. Watch it. Don't look up anything about it, I guess, other than this little description I just read, which is a good description. It doesn't give anything away. Go in blind. It's excellent. Okay. Samantha is a bright young college student looking for some extra cash. She sees an ad posted for a babysitting job on a local bulletin board. I already know this one. When she arrives at the house, she finds out she is not babysitting for a child, but an elderly woman. As the night progresses, Samantha finds out that the family she is working for has a dark side to them. What 2009 horror movie is this? Hush, Babysitter Wanted, The House of the Devil, or When a Stranger Calls? That is The House of the Devil, which a lot of people like. I didn't dislike it, but I didn't think it was anything great. I thought it really nailed the throwback aesthetic that it was going for, but I didn't think it had a worthwhile story. And like a lot of Ty West's movies, honestly, it felt like it was killing time for most of the runtime to hit feature length. Okay. Jenny and Steve plan a romantic weekend together at what seems like a remote private area. While catching some sun by the water, they are bothered by a group of young boys. Little did they know what terror the gang of kids could bring to them. What 2008 horror film is this? The Children, Eden Lake, The Woods, or Wicked Little Things? This one I have not seen. 2008 sounds about right for Eden Lake, so I'm going to guess that based on the year alone. Okay, Pete is an American journalist who writes about travel hotspots. His next assignment takes him on a small tourist boat ride through a river in the Australian outback. The tour guide, Kate, tells the tourists about the crocodile-infested waters below them. When their boat becomes stranded trying to help someone, things take a turn for the worse. What 2007 horror film is this? Blackwater, Rogue, Primeval, or Alligator? This one I'm also not familiar with. Alligator is a pretty generic title, but I know there's at least one movie called Alligator that's much older. Primeval, it could be. Maybe I'm going to guess Primeval, but that one's just a guess. Okay, this 2004 horror flick takes place in the Civil War era. I know this one. And follows, because there's not a lot of horror movies in the Civil War era, it follows Confederate soldiers who recently robbed a bank and are on the run. They find an abandoned farmhouse to shack up in for the night. As the night wears on, the soldiers begin to sense a supernatural presence in the house. What horror movie is this? Dead Birds, Ravenous. Oh, see, Ravenous actually is another Civil War era horror movie, so that's a good multiple choice, but it's not that one. Because it's Dead Birds, it's the first one. I reviewed Dead Birds as part of the Macabre Month of Horror over on the Brickwell Pictures channel a couple of years ago. I think 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. I found it quite disappointing. A lot of potential. Really good cast, but disappointing. Okay. This 2010 thriller movie is set at a rural ski hill, follows 3 young college students named Parker, Joe, and Dan. Their night doesn't go exactly to plan as they decide to take one more run down the hill before they leave. What movie is this? Whisper, Snowbound, Frozen, or Wind Chill? I've seen this one. It's the other Frozen, the not Disney Frozen. It's the one that they got stuck on a ski lift. A family gets together for a Christmas celebration at their private home in the forest. Everyone seems in good spirits before the kids start acting out. Their odd behavior beings turning, what? That's written weirdly. Their odd behavior beings turning everyone against each other. Is that supposed to be begins? Their odd behavior begins turning everyone against each other. Yeah, that makes sense. Even against their own mothers and sisters. What is the name of this 2008 horror film? Deep Red, no. Wicked Little Children, The Children, or From Within? Well, it's not Deep Red, but I couldn't tell you which of the other ones it is. Maybe Wicked Little Things. That one's a guess. Let's see how I did. Okay, The Changeling was right. Session 9 was right. Dead End was right. Lake Mungo was right. House of the Devil was right. Eden Lake was right. Primeval was wrong. The answer was Rogue. Dead Birds was right. Frozen was right. And the last one was not Wicked Little Things. It was The Children. So, okay, 8 out of 10. Not bad. Not bad. And our last quiz is, will the fake horror film please stand up? So this is a, guess which one is not the real horror film? Cottontail, Bunnyman, Easter Bunny, Kill Kill, Bloodbath of the Bunny. So I know Bunnyman is real. Easter Bunny, Kill Kill. There's obviously a movie called Faster Pussycat Kill Kill. The question is this question trying to mix you up with that movie, or is there a movie that was like referencing that old movie with its title? I don't know which is which. I'm going to guess this one, hoping that it's the former. Okay, which of these films is an imposter with a fake release date? Which one? Wait, what? Okay. Microwave Massacre, Nail Gun Massacre, Mortuary Massacre meets the Centralized Slasher, or Meat Cleaver Massacre. Well, I know Nail Gun Massacre is real because they did it on Best of the Worst. They did a Best of the Worst episode with Nail Gun Massacre. I don't know any of the other ones, though. The fact that they're saying the release date is fake is interesting. Okay, Microwave Massacre, how would that work? I'm going to guess that one because I don't know how you can massacre somebody with a microwave. I can't even picture that. So, okay, pick the fake title with the phony year. The Night Brings Charlie. It's a weird title. Colin. I think I've seen the poster for Colin, so I think that one's real. Rawhead Rex, I've definitely seen. It's actually adapted from a Clive Barker short story. The movie is not good, but the short story I actually really like. I reviewed that short story, as a matter of fact, because it's in Clive Barker's Books of Blood. So I reviewed that short story in that collection. And The Haunting of Anna Myers. That one's tricky because there's so many movies titled The Haunting of X, like The Haunting of Molly Hartley, The Haunting of Grace, whatever the fuck. I don't know if Anna Myers is one of them necessarily. That's tricky. The Night Brings Charlie is I think weird to the point that somebody wouldn't make it up. So I'm gonna guess The Haunting of Anna Myers because maybe they're trying to mix it up with all those other Haunting of movies. Okay, the next batch. The Nostril Picker, Blood Frenzy. Blood Frenzy's real. Freeway Maniac, or Mega Piranha versus the Big Barracuda. That sounds like one of those asylum movies. It's got to be the Nostril Picker, right? Otherwise, what the fuck is that? Okay, 3 of the titles are real. It's just the same thing. Okay, which one's fake? Silent Night, Bloody Night, that one's real. Silent Night, Zombie Night. Silent Night, He's Coming Tonight. Or Silent Night, Deadly Night. Oh, geez. Okay, 74, 84. Oh, wait, Silent Night, Deadly Night. Silent Night, Bloody Night is what I thought I read on Silent Night, Deadly Night. It might be Silent Night, Bloody Night. No, I think that one's real too. Silent Night, He's Coming. I'm going to guess that one. Silent Night, He's Coming Tonight. Choose the phony horror film. Evils of the Night, The Eves. The Eves. The Killer's Eyes of Evil, that one's real. Or Evil's City. I think that's one of the alternate titles of City of the Living Dead, but it might be its own. It might be another movie just on its own. The Eves is really weird. I guess I'll guess that. Okay, which one's fake? Oh No, Zombies. I think I've seen that poster somewhere. Living a Zombie Dream. Zombie Dearest, that one's real. Or Oh, My Zombie Mermaid. Oh, My Zombie Mermaid sounds really dumb, but in the way that sometimes a Japanese horror movie will translate weirdly into English, where it's a fine title in Japanese, but it translates weird. I'm getting that kind of vibe from it. But even still, I'm gonna guess that. Okay, pick the phony baloney title. Please Don't Let Me Die. A Lonely Place to Die. That one's real. That one's I've seen actually. A Horrible Way to Die is also real, and it's directed by Adam Wingard before he made You're Next and whatnot. And It's My Party, It'll Die If I Want to. It's either the first or the last one. I think Please Don't Let Me Die is probably the fake one. Okay, which one is the faux film title? I Spit Chew on Your Grave. I Spit on Your Corpse. I Spit on Your Grave. I Spit Blood on Your Ashes. Pretty sure this one's real. I Spit on Your Grave is obviously real. I Spit on Your Corpse, or I Spit Chew on Your Grave. I think it might be something is telling me that I Spit Chew on Your Grave, as stupid as it sounds. Something's telling me that one's real. My guts tell me that one's real. So I'm going to go with I Spit on Your Corpse, even though that one is much more reasonable than I Spit Chew on Your Grave. I'm going to look so dumb when that one's wrong. See if you can figure out which one is not real. Okay. Revenge of the Rat People, Werewolf of Washington, The Rats Are Coming, The Werewolves Are Here. I like that title. Or Mexican Werewolf in Texas. These all sound fake. These all sound fake as shit. Oh, man. These all sound so fake. Okay, I'm going to guess Revenge of the Rat People? No, Werewolf of Washington. Yeah, let's guess it. Oh, man, I probably got so many of these wrong. Wrong. I got the haunting one right. So, okay. This means that The Nostril Picker is a real movie. The Nostril Picker 19... What the fuck is this movie? The Nostril Picker. Loner turns into a girl to lure and kill other girls. What? What the fuck is this movie? Wow. Okay. Oh, Ant Farm Dickhole shows up in the related movies, so that lets you know what kind of movie it is. I've heard of that one before. Okay. Salina's Coming to Get You is real. The Eves, that one was wrong. Oh, My Zombie. Oh, really? Okay, so the one that I thought I'd heard of, Oh No, Zombies, was the fake one. That's a little Mandela effect for you, I guess. Please Don't Let Me Die was right. I Spit Blood on Your Ashes was the right one. Okay, so, but that does mean that I Spit Shoe on Your Grave was real. I was at least right about that ridiculous one being real, but I still got the actual question wrong. And then Revenge of the Rat People was the fake one. I almost picked that one. I did terrible on that last quiz, 3 out of 10. That was a tough one, though. It was a fun one, even though I did terribly on it. So that was the last trivia quiz that I had prepped. I guess that's where we're going to end the stream for today. It was a decent length. Thanks for watching, everybody. Happy Halloween. I do have a big horror video essay for my main channel, Brickwall Pictures, that has been ready to release since October 8th. So it's been like 2 full weeks of me ready to release it, and I can't because of bullshit copyright claims. That video got 5 copyright claims. The video is obviously fair use. I disputed all of them, of course, as I always do. Pretty much every video I make on that channel gets copyright claims. That one got 5. I disputed all of them. 4 of them got released, relatively quickly. One of them, from Pathé, has stuck around, and they rejected my dispute. I appealed it. They rejected my appeal, and the video has been fully taken off YouTube, and they gave my channel a strike. I had to submit a counter notification, which is like the start of an actual legal proceeding, which means it's now it's actually, risky, and there's real consequences involved. There always are for when you just dispute in the first place, because that's how YouTube's system is built. Anyway, they're supposed to have 10 days to reply. Basically how it works, once I forward the counter notification, they need to either officially sue me or they release their claim. It's basically like I'm playing chicken with Pathé right now, because I know my video is fair use. There's no doubt about it. Anybody could see that. Also, the part that they're claiming from Pathé makes up a tiny little percentage of the entire video. I'm narrating over it the entire time. I'm analyzing it. It's very clear, cut and dry fair use. They don't give a shit. Pathé, those motherfuckers, they took my video down. That's why you haven't got my big horror video essay this Halloween. Hopefully it'll be up sometime next week. I think it will be up before Halloween, but yeah, it should have been out much earlier. Anyway, you'll get it eventually. I'll tease it here. It's a video essay on jump scares. Video essay on why jump scares are bad and maybe why they're not so bad in certain circumstances. I analyze a few in detail and break down sort of why they exist in the first place. And, just sort of the history of them, the influence of them, why they're popular, why they're derided. Stay tuned for that over on the Brickwall Pictures channel, over on my main channel. Anyway, that's where I'll end this. Happy Halloween to you, El Pacino, and to everybody else watching. Happy Halloween. And this is the point where I awkwardly search for the end stream button. There it is. So long, everyone. Happy Halloween. And it didn't end when I clicked end stream. So I'm going to say once again, happy Halloween.